Hello, this is Eli at SafeNet. This presentation is about clone detection, meaning what are the criteria in which we use in order to define that a machine that the application runs on it is not the real machine but a cloned one, and therefore we do not allow this application to run on this cloned machine. So until LDK 7.1, this was the situation, and let me give you all the details about what was the normal behavior that was, let's say, cannot be changed. This was the behavior, and one could not change it. First of all, there is a distinguish between physical machines and virtual machines, VMs and other virtual machines. If you use a physical machine, then a cloned machine would be identified only if both hard drive and motherboard are seems to be different than compared to the original one that firstly the SL key was created over there. Of course, about clone detection, we are talking about SL keys, not HL, because HL by design, Sentinel SL key goes from one machine to another machine, so you don't care where exactly the machine resides. But in SL, you would like to make sure that the SL was not copied to another machine or used on another machine. So clone detection for physical machine is only when both hard drive and motherboard are changed. Now, for the virtual machine, we have three identifications here. One is virtual MAC address and UUID. Both are virtualized, meaning that they are part of the virtual machine. But we also use a physical characteristics, which is the CPU. Now, if one of them has been changed, either the virtual MAC address or the CPU or the UUID, then we disable, meaning we identify the machine, the virtual machine, as cloned, and therefore we don't allow the application to run on this machine. So it's more jumpy, let's say, enough for one of them to be different, and we say, no, this is not the normal and the original virtual machine, and therefore we do not allow to run the application. So this was the situation, and no ability to change the definitions, the criteria. But we have made a change starting from LDK 7.1, in which there is a scheme, and the ISV, the software vendor, will be able to define which scheme he would like to work with. So let me show you which are the schemes. Here again, there is a distinguish between physical machines schemes and virtual machine schemes. Now let's start with the physical machine schemes. The first scheme is called PMType1, and this is the default one, meaning hard drive and motherboard, and if both are changed, therefore there is a clone detection. So if an ISV choose PMType1, it means that he still used the same mechanism that we used to be working until now for physical machines. But he has, starting from LDK 7.1, another scheme which is called PMType2. By doing so, he used several components. It's a mixture of several hardware components like CPU, card, Ethernet card, optical drive, PCI card slot, and also hard drive and motherboard. And the reliability here is more advanced, and it is more secure to use PMType2 in order to prevent, as we know, sometimes you have some kind of differences, and therefore it's more secure to use PMType2 that is presented starting from LDK 7.1. There is another third option to be using is FQDN. And once again, it's from LDK 7.1 and above, in which the machine FQDN, fully qualified domain name, is used to verify whether it's the original machine or a clone machine. More about FQDN maybe I'll show you a little bit later. Let's continue now for schemes for virtual machine. So the first one is PMType1, which is the default. As we talked until now, that there is a usage of virtual MAC address, CPU, and UUID. And if one of them, only one of them is changed, therefore the machine is considered as cloned. So ISV can still use the normal behavior. But we have presented, starting from LDK 7.1, another option, which is called FQDN, once again, the fully qualified domain name. And this allows more reliability when you use virtual environments such as live migration. I will talk about live migration in another session. So any ISV can use FQDN if it meets his requirements. Currently, the option to define which schemes you would like to have can be done using the LeakGen API. And let me show you how you can do it. For instance, here is the LeakGen API, and you use XML types, and you specify the physical machine schemes, and you specify the virtual machine schemes, and you can define which schemes for each one of them. For instance, here we see that the PMType1 was defined for physical machine, which means as usual, but you even disable the virtual machine clone protection, which means never a machine in virtual machine will be considered as clone, never. So this is another option, and as you can see, there is a lot of variety that can be offered for any ISV to define the criteria as he like. So hope it is beneficial for you. Thank you for watching.